Imagine this. You're sitting at your favorite cafe, sipping your favorite beverage, and you pull out this sleek and beautiful device. Heads turn. People whisper, "Is this the new iPad Air?" Yes, it is. This is the new iPad Air 2024. And it's not just a pretty face, it's packed with power and performance. And usually what happens is that when somebody thinks of a tablet with power and performance, they think about the iPad Pro. When they recommend the iPad Air, it's usually for lighter stuff like consuming multimedia or a tablet for children. I have been using this iPad for about a week and I would say I disagree. I think this is a pretty damn powerful tablet and I think it might just be the best iPad ever. But wait, who is this woman on Fiiber? This is anonymous. Kidding, this is Nandini actually, and this is my cameo on Fiiber so that I can share my iPad Air review with you. So let's go. I think the iPad Air 2024 sits in a very sweet spot. The Goldilocks zone, if you may. I think the iPad Air 2024 has just the right things in it. It has power. It has performance. For the first time ever, it has a 13-inch display. And its base storage has now been doubled up to 128 gigs. Earlier, you used to get about 64 gigs. That was the base variant. So that's a great thing. And now the Apple iPad Air comes with support for the Apple Pencil Pro and the USB-C Pencil. Cherry on the top, the pricing of this device is, I think, very good because the base variant starts at around 60,000, which is for the 11-inch model. And for the 13-inch, the pricing starts at about 80,000 rupees. Now, the thing is, I know how is this really a cherry on top because 60,000 rupees and 80,000 rupees. But to be fair, if you actually look how pro the performance is, very similar to the iPad Pros, and the pricing is very similar to how the iPad Airs are priced, I think it's a pretty sweet deal. So let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Now, if we look at the design of the iPad Air 2024, it's very similar to that of the iPad Pro 2022. It's very, very sleek. It's quite light. It's about 600 grams. So if you're moving around with the tablet, it's very comfortable to keep it in a bag or just hold it around because it's pretty light. You can easily move around with it like this. The back is aluminum. The color I have is blue. It comes in a bunch of other colors. There is one very beautiful lilac color, which I love. If you look at the display here, it's a 13-inch display. This is the first time that iPad Air comes in a 13-inch size screen option. And it's also one of the biggest changes that have come to iPad Air this time. Besides that, the other big change that comes is the camera. So earlier, the camera used to be over here. Oh no, I'm holding it upside down. It used to be here. And now it has been moved to the landscape edge like this, which is so much more natural and intuitive. Because if you're using an iPad, you're using it mostly with a folio. So this iPad comes with a smart folio. So if you slap this on like this, you would ideally use your iPad like this. So now that you have the camera over here on the landscape edge, it makes so much more sense. So that means when you're doing video calls or if you are just FaceTiming somebody, you don't have to adjust or reposition the iPad every time. This faces you, this is a natural way to do it. It's so much more intuitive and so much better. So I think that's a great thing on the design. At the bottom edge, you get stereo speakers, which also has support for spatial audio. On the side here is the volume control. So you have the up and down volume, which gets customize according to how you're holding the device, right? So this way, the more natural way would be to press this would be, the upper button would be volume up. But if you're using it sideways, in this orientation, automatically your iPad knows that, oh, this way would be upper volume, and so that it reconfigures on its own, which is really smart. Then on the top edge, you have the lock button, which also doubles as the Touch ID button. This does not, the iPad Air 2024 does not have Face ID. This only has Touch ID. But personally, I don't miss Face ID because it makes so much more sense to have Touch ID on a device like this, because why would you every time pick up the device and use Face ID like this? Just using either of your fingers on the Touch ID button would make so much more sense. It would be so much more natural. So I think that makes total sense. So if we come back to the camera on the front side of the device, it is a 12 megapixel camera. It is a wide angle lens. It's pretty great for FaceTiming, video calling, and specifically in FaceTiming, if you use the center stage feature, which is basically that the device automatically understands that, oh, this is the person who's on the video call, so you're immediately in focus. I think it works beautifully for that. Your video calls would be so much better, and again, I think the shift to the landscape edge really makes that difference. At the back is another camera. This is also 12 megapixel. It has decent image quality. On the go, you can document stuff. It's fine, you can take images. Don't expect some great high quality images on it, but it's fine. It gets the work done. Now the display. I said this is a 13-inch display. Great. This uses a liquid retina display, so basically doesn't have the OLED, but on its own, as a standalone, it works really well. You have no issues. There's never a dull moment, if you know what I mean. And it's great if you're even in the brightness, like if you go out in the sunlight and you're using it, there's no issue with the legibility on the display over here. It's a beautiful display, but imagine this, you have a 13-inch screen, you have spatial audio on it, and you have liquid retina display. Putting all of that together and watching a movie or a show on it becomes pure bliss. It's amazing. Now we talk about the performance of the iPad Air. Right now everybody's talking about the M4 chip, which is on the iPad Pro 2024. This one doesn't use that. This one has the M2 chip, which was also on the iPad Pro 2022, which is still a very good iPad, still a well-performing tablet. The M2 chip is also on some of your MacBooks. I use that MacBook for my daily work and it works excellently. But let's look at some of the numbers that Apple has shared with us about the M2 chip. So according to Apple, the M2 has a 15% faster CPU, a 25% faster GPU, and a neural engine that's 40% faster than the M1. But what does that mean? Basically, you can multitask, you can game, you can do anything, watch videos on it, and you will never feel like you're not getting a pro performance. I have been using this tablet for more than a week, and I have been using it daily. I use it as a second screen to my MacBook Pro, and I have multiple apps running on it. I have an analytics app running on it. My Arc browser has multiple tabs open on it. Besides, I always have a music app running on it. Then I'm always carrying it around with me. I use it at home to watch a lot of videos, and sometimes I'm also gaming on it. I have never felt any gap in the performance of the iPad Air. It's worked very well for me. We also ran some benchmarks on the iPad Air. While benchmarks aren't everything, but they do give you a little bit of perspective on what kind of performance a device is giving you. So let us take you through it. So we tested this on Geekbench and we got a single bench score of 2,590 and 10,055 multi-core score. The GPU Metal score was pretty good too at 41,763. On Antutu, on the other hand, the CPU score we got was 5,42,122 and 8,36,774 GPU score. We got a total of 20,64,493 on Antutu. When we tested the iPad Air, we realized that you can be editing videos on it, you can be watching movies on it, or you could be playing some games on it. You will not feel at any time that, oh, the iPad Air is giving me issues and I'm not able to do what I want on the iPad. You don't have to restrict yourself to do light tasks on it just because it's an iPad Air. It will give you the performance you require. With all this multitasking that I've been doing on the iPad Air, or the movie watching I've been doing, I got a battery life of about a day or a little more than that sometimes. On days that I took it very light, it actually went up to about 2 days. I did not require charging it every day. In the box, the iPad Air comes with a USB-C adapter and a Type-C charging cable, which is 20 watts. The adapter is 20 watts. The charging speeds are not like fast charge, but it's great. I was able to charge it from 0 to 100% in about 1 hour 58 minutes, and I think that worked well for me because you don't need to charge it so frequently, so it's fine. If you get some time in the middle of your work, just plug it in and you're done. I think the iPad Air 2024 is pretty pro. At the beginning of this review video, I said that this may be the best iPad Air ever. I'll tell you why I said that. I think that if you get such a pro performance in a device which is priced very similarly to an iPad Air, you don't anymore have to restrict yourself to go for a lighter device or use a lighter device just because you are not able to get the Pro variant. This gives you a very powerful performance and I think you deserve it. But here's the thing, I know I'm convinced that this is a great iPad, but the questions that I really got asked when I was using this tablet for a review were two. One, can it replace my laptop? And the other one, what is really the purpose of an iPad? So to answer the second question first, so the purpose really is that if you want a portable device for entertainment or for collaborative work or for creative tasks, I think the iPad Air is a fantastic device for it. You can actually level up your game. If you get a Magic Keyboard, if you get an Apple Pencil, this can become a bomb of a device. Of course, that also means that the price goes up. If you will actually end up in the 1 lakh price segment now if you get all the accessories. But if you're somebody who does creative work, this might just turn into an essential tool for you with all the package of a keyboard and an Apple Pencil and the power of this iPad. To answer the other question, can it replace your laptop? No. If you can do all your work, office work, all the other work that you do on your phone, then yes, okay, because you get a much larger display, you get like a 13-inch canvas, you can do a lot of it more conveniently, more intuitively also sometimes. But if you require a laptop to do that, then no, this is not supposed to be a laptop. Even Apple doesn't think this is supposed to be a laptop. There's a reason why this runs on iPad OS, which is basically like iOS on steroids. This does not use Mac OS because Mac OS is supposed to do the laptop work. This is not supposed to do the laptop work. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that the iPad Air is great if you know and can use the capabilities of the device. If you already have the purpose in mind that, oh, this is what I require the iPad Air for, then I would say the iPad Air 2024 is 100% worth it. This is a review of the iPad Air 2024. I am Nandini. If you like our video, do like our video and subscribe to Fiiber. Bye bye.